I used to think money grows faster when people see my plan. That was a lie. My friend, I thought talking about wealth made me serious, but it only made me loud. I spoke too early about saving, about discipline, about a better future. Then pressure came, praise came, doubt came, and the plan died in public before it could live in private. Stay until the end, and you will learn English and life at the same time. You will see why some money moves must begin in silence. This is English Story Studio. Here, we train your English and we train your mind to face the truth with calm. I know this pain well. I know the strange feeling of wanting a better life, but ruining it with my own mouth. I used to believe that saying a plan out loud made it more real. I thought public words would give me power. I thought if people heard me talk about saving money, building discipline, and changing my habits, I would feel stronger. But the truth was hard. The words gave me a fast feeling of progress. Not real progress, just a feeling. My mouth moved first, my life stayed the same. That is the core idea today. Some money moves are weak in the beginning. They are like a small fire on a cold night. If the wind hits too early, the fire dies. If people stand around it, touch it, question it, laugh at it, or praise it before it grows, the fire can disappear. My friend, not every good thing needs an audience. Today, I will walk with you through 7 money moves that grow better in silence. First, I will show why a money plan is fragile at the beginning. Then, I will talk about saving quietly. After that, we will move into spending less, learning valuable skills, staying away from empty praise, protecting your budget from other people, building a system, and finally, patience. Not loud ambition. Patience. The kind that changes a life. I learned this lesson in an ugly way. A few years ago, I looked at my bank account late at night. I still remember the light from the screen. Cold. White. Honest. My salary had come in, but my money was already weak. Some went to food I did not need. Some went to small rewards I told myself I deserved. Some went to habits that made me feel rich for 1 hour and poor for 30 days. I felt tired of my own pattern. That night, I made a plan. A real one. I would save part of my salary every month. I would stop wasting money to impress nobody. I would learn skills that could increase my income. I would live with more control. It was not a perfect plan, but it was honest. Then I made the mistake. I talked. I told people I was changing. I spoke about my new budget. I said I would save a fixed amount each month. I said I was done with stupid spending. I said I was serious now. Some people smiled and said nice things. Some people laughed a little. Some said, "Good for you." Some said, "Let's see how long that lasts." Some asked me to go out and spend money anyway. Some acted uncomfortable because my new discipline made their own habits look weak. And slowly, something bad happened inside me. I became more interested in being seen as disciplined than in actually being disciplined. That is a dangerous trap. When a money plan is new, it is fragile. It does not live deep inside your identity yet. It is still learning how to stand. At that stage, outside attention can damage it. Criticism can shake it. Praise can soften it. Questions can confuse it. Social pressure can bend it. I did not understand this before. I thought the danger was failure. But often the danger comes before failure. The danger is exposure. A young plan needs privacy. Think about debt. Think about savings. Think about building a skill. Think about stopping useless spending. These things are not dramatic at first. They are quiet, repeated, sometimes boring. They grow slowly. They need room. They need silence. They need time without performance. But I turned my private work into public theater. I wanted people to know that I was becoming better with money. I wanted the image before the result. This is common. This is human. But it is still a lie. The lie says, if people see my plan, I will stay committed. The truth says, if my discipline depends on other people watching, it is not discipline yet. My friend, that truth hurt me. I had to stop and be honest with myself. Why was I talking so much? Was I trying to build wealth? Or was I trying to look like the kind of person who builds wealth? I opened my banking app. I checked my spending. I checked my savings. I checked what I said against what I did. The gap was painful. That gap changed me. After that, I started to understand the first hidden move. Save quietly. This sounds simple, but it is not easy. Quiet saving is not only about hiding money from other people. It is also about hiding the process from your own ego. It is about doing the right thing without needing applause. It is about letting the results speak later. I used to think a savings goal needed public energy. Now I know it needs private discipline. When you announce a savings plan too early, strange things begin. People remember your words. They watch, they ask, they joke, they invite you into situations that fight your plan. They say, come on, it is just one night. They say, why are you so serious? They say, you only live once. And if you say no, sometimes they act like your self-control is an insult to their comfort. That is why quiet saving matters. Quiet saving protects the seed. I remember one month very clearly. I had decided to keep a part of my salary untouched. Nothing heroic. Just a clean, boring act of respect for my future. But then a friend wanted a weekend trip. Another person wanted dinner at a place I could not really afford. Someone else joked that I was becoming cheap. That word used to control me. Cheap. I did not want to look small. I did not want to look weak. I wanted approval more than stability. So I spent. Not because I needed to. Because I wanted peace with people. I bought short-term comfort with long-term damage. Later that month, I looked at my account again. The number was low. My stress was high. The people were gone. The pressure stayed with me. That was another hard truth. Nobody pays your debt because they enjoyed your company. Nobody builds your savings because they liked your lifestyle. Nobody gives you freedom because you looked relaxed in public. You pay. You lose. You learn. So I changed the method. I stopped speaking about every plan. I stopped explaining every budget choice. I stopped making my savings goal into a social discussion. I learned to move quietly. If I stayed home, I stayed home. If I said no, I said no. If I saved money, I saved it without a speech. And something beautiful happened. The pressure became smaller. The drama became smaller. The result became real. Money likes calm behavior. Wealth does not need noise in the beginning. A private move can become a powerful result, but only if it survives the early stage. So in this first part, remember two truths. First, a money plan is fragile when it is young. Second, saving quietly is not weakness. It is protection. It is wisdom. It is self-respect. In the next part, I will go deeper into this silence. Then I will show why reducing spending often brings mockery before it brings freedom. I kept saving quietly, and that silence started to change me. Not in a dramatic way, not in a movie way, in a small, honest way. My bank account was still not impressive. My salary was still limited. My life did not suddenly become rich. But for the first time, I was not performing discipline. I was practicing it. That difference matters. Before, I wanted people to see the plan. Now, I wanted the plan to survive. Before, I wanted to sound serious. Now, I wanted to become serious. Before, my mouth was full. My savings were empty. Now my words became smaller and my results became stronger. My friend, this is why quiet saving is powerful. It teaches you to separate image from truth. Image says, talk about the future. Truth says, protect the future. Image says, Let people admire your goals. Truth says, let your bank account grow in peace. Image wants fast emotional reward. Truth wants slow financial result. I used to lose this fight again and again. I would save a little, feel proud, then speak too much. The moment I spoke, I felt pressure. Then I felt tired. Then I wanted relief. Then I spent money to relax from the pressure I created with my own words. This is a very stupid cycle. I know because I lived it. I said I was becoming disciplined. Then I spent money because discipline felt heavy. I said I was building wealth. Then I bought things to feel better for 1 hour. I said I was changing my life. Then I acted like the old version of me the moment people tested me. That is why the early stage needs privacy. Let me tell you about a simple moment. One Friday, a group wanted to go out after work. I had enough money to join them, but not without hurting my monthly budget. The old me would go anyway. I would say, it is okay. I deserve it. Or I would say, I already saved a little this month. Then I would lose control, spend more than planned, and carry quiet regret home. But this time I said very little. I did not explain my budget. I did not give a speech about my future. I did not say I was on a saving journey. I just said I could not make it. That was all. It felt strange at first. I wanted to explain myself. I wanted to be understood. I wanted people to know I had a serious reason. But I learned something important. The more you explain your discipline, the more people feel invited to discuss it. And many people do not discuss your budget to help you. Some people feel threatened by your control. Some feel uncomfortable when you stop wasting money the way they do. Some people benefit from your weakness. They like the old you because the old you says yes. The old you spends. The old you joins. The old you stays easy to influence. The new you is harder to move. That can make people react in strange ways. They may call you boring. They may call you cheap. They may say you changed. They may say money is making you cold. But a full ski the simple. You are not colder. You are clear. Clear people make unclear people nervous. I had to stop and be honest with myself again. Why did one word from another person have so much power over my spending? Why did I fear looking poor more than becoming stable? I checked my account after a month of quiet saving. Then I checked the months before. The pattern was obvious. In the quiet month, my stress was lower. In the loud months, my spending was emotional. That one check taught me more than motivation videos ever did. Now we move into the next hidden move. Reducing spending. This one is very hard because it touches pride. Saving quietly is private. Reducing spending becomes visible. People notice when you stop buying the usual things. They notice when you order less. They notice when you repeat old clothes. They notice when you say no to expensive plans. They notice when your life becomes simpler. And in the beginning, simple living does not look impressive. That is why people may mock it before they respect it. I remember when I started cutting spending with real seriousness. I looked at my food costs, random shopping, subscriptions, transportation, late-night orders, and those small treats that were really just leaks. Every leak seemed small by itself. Together, they were killing my budget. That was painful to see. I was not poor because life was impossible. I was often poor because I kept voting against myself with small daily choices. So I reduced things. I cooked more. I stayed home more. I bought less. I delayed pleasure. I stopped using spending as medicine. The outside result looked smaller. The inside result was bigger. But people noticed. Not everyone. Just enough. One person laughed because I brought food from home. Another person made a joke about me becoming too budget. Someone else looked surprised that I stopped buying things just because there was a discount. A few people acted like my lower spending was a sad life. That reaction can break weak discipline. Why? Because many of us were trained to connect spending with status. We think visible spending means progress. We think expensive choices prove adult success. We think simple living means failure. That is one of the biggest lies in modern life. Spending is not always strength. Sometimes spending is fear wearing nice clothes. I had to learn this slowly. I used to buy things because I wanted relief. I wanted to feel rewarded after work. I wanted to feel in control after a bad day. I wanted to feel successful before I actually became successful. So I spent money to create an emotional picture, but a picture is not wealth. A feeling is not wealth. A purchase is not wealth. Wealth is what stays. Wealth is what protects you. Wealth is what gives you time, choice, and space to breathe. A man with a calm budget and a growing savings account may look less exciting than a man with new shoes, expensive dinners, and zero reserve. But one of them is building freedom. The other is renting an image. I was renting an image for too long, and the rent was high. My friend, reducing spending is not punishment. It is correction. It is the moment when you stop lying with your wallet. It is when you say, my future matters more than this moment of display. That does not mean life must become dark. It does not mean no joy, no rest, no beauty. It means your spending must obey truth. It means you do not let impulse act like a king. It means you stop turning every emotion into a purchase. This is where simple living becomes a hidden move. You do not announce it like a moral lesson. You just do it. Quietly, calmly, repeatedly. At first, it may look small. You say no to buying coffee outside every day. You stop ordering things just because you feel tired. You keep your phone longer. You repair instead of replace. You sit with the discomfort of not looking impressive. This last one is big. Many people do not fear saving. They fear looking like someone who needs to save. That fear keeps them broke. I know, because it kept me broke. I wanted the appearance of ease. I wanted people to think I was fine. I wanted a lifestyle that said, no problem, no pressure. I can afford this. But behind the image was stress. Behind the image was weak savings. Behind the image was a future being sold for present approval. One evening, I stood in line to buy something I did not need. It was not a huge purchase. That is what made it dangerous. Small enough to excuse. Useless enough to regret. I looked at it in my hand and asked myself one real question. Do I want this object, or do I want the feeling it gives me for 10 minutes? The answer was painful. I wanted the feeling, so I put it back. That tiny act mattered more than it looked, because every time you reduce spending with awareness, you teach your brain a new rule. You teach it that discomfort will not kill you. You teach it that desire is not an order. You teach it that money can stay in your life without running away through your hands. That is how stability begins. Then something else happened. After some months, the same people who quietly mocked simple choices started respecting the result. Not all of them, but enough. They saw less stress in me. They saw more control. They saw that I was not always worried at the end of the month. They saw that I had become harder to shake. Interesting, right? At first, simple living looks small. Later, stability looks strong. But you must survive the middle. You must survive the stage where people do not understand what you are building. That is why reducing spending should often be hidden at first. Not secret in a dramatic way. Just protected. You do not owe everyone a speech. You do not owe everyone access to your financial reset. You do not need approval to stop bleeding money. You need courage. You need honesty. You need a budget that tells the truth. And that leads us to the next hidden move. Learning valuable skills without announcing big income dreams too early. Because talking about future money can feel exciting, but skill grows the same way. Savings grow. Quietly. Slowly. Without applause in the beginning. In the next part, I will show you why early dreams of higher income can become another trap if they are louder than the work. I learned to save quietly. I learned to spend less without turning it into a public performance. But then I found another trap. It was more subtle. It looked smart. It sounded ambitious. It felt productive, but it was still dangerous. I started talking too early about future income. I told myself this was different. Saving was one thing, I thought. Skills were another. I thought it was okay to speak loudly about what I would soon become. I wanted to learn valuable skills. I wanted better income. I wanted a stronger career. I wanted more freedom. All of that was good. The problem was not the dream. The problem was the timing of my mouth. I began to talk about the books I would read, the courses I would finish, the new abilities I would build, the extra money I would make one day. I spoke like my future salary had already arrived. I spoke like my skills already had market value. I spoke like I was near the top, when really I was still at the door. This is common, and it is dangerous. A skill is like savings. It is weak at first. It is private at first. It is awkward at first. In the beginning, you are not impressive. You are learning slowly. You are making mistakes. You are repeating basic things. You are not yet worth more because you wish to be worth more. You become worth more when your skill solves real problems. But I wanted the identity before the proof. I wanted to say, I am building a bigger income. I wanted to say, I am learning something valuable. I wanted people to see direction, ambition, and growth. Again, image came first. Again, truth moved slower. I remember sitting with a laptop open late at night. I had notes everywhere. I was trying to learn a skill that could raise my income. I felt excited. I felt serious. I felt hopeful. That part was real, but then I imagined future conversations. I imagined people asking what I was working on. I imagined myself sounding focused, strategic, and different. I was already collecting praise for work I had not done. That is poison, because once praise enters too early, your brain can feel finished before the result exists. You get a small emotional reward before the real reward. You get the feeling of progress without the cost of progress, and the brain likes cheap rewards. So I started to drift. I still studied, but not with the same hunger. I still worked, but not with the same humility. I still wanted more income, but I was becoming satisfied with sounding like a person who wanted more income. That false satisfaction is deadly. My friend, a dream about money is not money. A plan to build skills is not a skill. A future income story is not income. The market does not pay you for intention. It pays for value. It pays for usefulness. It pays for results. I had to stop and be honest with myself again. Was I learning, or was I performing learning? Was I building something, or was I building a story about myself? I checked my hours. I checked my actual output. I checked what I had completed, not what I had imagined. The answer was painful. I liked the identity of growth more than the discipline of growth, so I changed the method again. I started learning in silence, not because learning is shameful, not because ambition is bad, but because early work needs protection. You do not announce every income dream while your skill is still weak. You do not speak like a future expert when you are still learning basic control. You do not treat hope like evidence. I became quieter. I studied more than I spoke. I practiced more than I explained. I focused on repetition, not impression. That was harder than it sounds. Silence can feel small when your ego wants applause. Silence can feel lonely when your mind wants recognition. Silence can feel slow when social media shows fast success everywhere. But silence helped me face the truth. The truth was this: I was not underpaid only because the world was unfair. Sometimes I was underdeveloped. Sometimes my skill was not rare enough. Sometimes my value was not sharp enough. Sometimes I wanted more money without becoming more useful. That is a hard sentence, but hard sentences can save a life. Once I accepted that, I became calmer. I stopped chasing emotional energy. I started building actual value. I read with more care. I practiced longer. I repeated boring things. I let confusion stay on the table until it became clarity. I stopped needing people to know I was working on something big. Big things often begin in very unimpressive rooms. A notebook, a cheap desk, a tired evening, a person with weak habits trying again. That is how income grows for many people. Not with noise, with repeated effort, quiet effort, useful effort. Let me say this clearly. There is nothing wrong with vision. There is nothing wrong with wanting more money. There is nothing wrong with hoping for a better salary, a stronger career, or a more free future. The danger begins when your words run ahead of your work. Words can steal energy from action. This happened to me many times. I would talk about the extra income I wanted. I would describe the kind of life I was building. I would imagine financial freedom. Then, strangely, I felt less urgent. The talking acted like a small reward. The dream became soft. The discipline became optional. And the skill stayed weak. So I made a new rule. Protect the early stage. When I start learning something useful, I do not rush to announce it. When I begin improving myself for better income, I do not ask the world for attention. When I set a goal tied to money, I do not feed it with fantasy. I feed it with hours. Hours matter. Repetition matters. Output matters. Not mood. Not image. Not future talk. One of the hardest parts was being a beginner in private. Nobody likes that stage. It is slow. It is humbling. It shows you the distance between your current self and your desired self. And if money is attached to the dream, the distance can feel painful. You want the better salary now. You want the stronger life now. You want proof now. But real skill does not care about your impatience. It asks for practice, then more practice, then more correction, then more practice. This is why the third hidden move must stay quiet at first. Learning valuable skills without announcing big income dreams too early protects your focus. It keeps your energy close to the work. It stops your ego from eating the reward before the market gives it to you. And now we reach the fourth hidden move. Avoiding praise. This one changed me deeply. At first, praise feels good. Of course it does. A person notices your change. A person says something positive. A person tells you that you are disciplined, focused, serious, improving, inspiring. None of that sounds dangerous. It sounds beautiful. But early praise can be a trap because the brain is not always wise. It hears praise and thinks, good, we're done. It hears admiration and thinks, we are already becoming that person. It feels social reward and starts reducing effort. I know this because it happened inside me. When people noticed I was spending less, saving more, and trying to build useful skills, some of them said kind things. They said I seemed more mature. They said I looked focused. They said I was really changing. On the outside, I smiled. On the inside, something became softer. My effort lost some sharpness. Not all at once. Just a little. But a little is enough. I started relaxing too early. I started admiring myself too early. I started feeling proud of the direction before there was enough distance on the road. This is the danger of praise. Praise can become a fake finish line. You hear a few good words, and your brain gives you emotional payment before financial reality changes. You feel like progress is more complete than it is. You stop pushing. You stop checking your numbers carefully. You stop respecting how far you still need to go. My friend, this is why some praise must be refused inside your own mind. You do not need to reject kind people. You do not need to become cold or rude. But you must not let praise replace the scoreboard. The scoreboard is still your savings, your debt, your spending, your output, your skill, your consistency. Those things tell the truth. Praise only tells you how something sounds from the outside. I had to stop and be honest with myself one more time. Was I changing my finances? Or was I enjoying the feeling of being seen as someone who changes finances? I checked my monthly numbers. I checked my study hours. I checked my actual budget. I saw something clear. Every time I started enjoying praise too much, my work became less exact, less sharp, less hungry. So I built another quiet rule. When praise comes early, say thank you. Then go back to work. Do not sit inside it. Do not build a home inside it. Do not eat it like food. It is not food. It is air. Too much of it and your feet leave the ground. In the next part, I will show how budgets must be protected not only from your own weakness, but also from envy, opinions, and people who quietly benefit when you stay financially weak. Praise became less powerful when I learned to treat it like wind. Nice to feel for a moment. Dangerous if it moves the direction of my life. That lesson prepared me for another hard truth. My budget was not only in danger for my own habits, it was also in danger from other people. That was difficult to admit. I used to think money problems were private. I thought my weak budget came only from poor choices, bad discipline, or emotional spending. And yes, those things mattered. But there was more. Around me were opinions, pressure, envy, and people who were comfortable when I stayed weak. Not everyone, but enough. This is the fifth hidden move. Protect your budget. A budget is not just numbers on a screen. It is a wall around your future. It tells your money where to go before emotion grabs it. It gives structure to your salary. It protects savings. It limits waste. It gives truth to the month. And because it creates control, some people will not like it. That sounds dramatic, but it is real. A weak version of me was useful to some people. A weak version of me said yes more often. A weak version of me joined every plan. A weak version of me spent money to avoid discomfort. A weak version of me could be influenced with one sentence. When I started respecting my budget, I became less available for foolish spending. That changed social situations. Suddenly, I was not always easy. Suddenly, I asked simple questions like, can I afford this? Does this fit the month? Do I really want this? Those questions sound boring. But boring questions can save a bank account. Some people hear those questions and feel judged, even when you say nothing about them. That is where envy and opinions enter. Envy is not always loud. It can be very quiet. It may come as a joke. It may come as advice. It may come as concern. It may come as laughter when you choose the cheaper option. It may come as a strange push toward old habits. I started noticing this more clearly. When I spent carelessly, nobody complained. When I wasted money, nobody said I was too extreme. When I said yes to expensive plans, people looked comfortable. But when I chose control, some reactions changed. Why are you acting different? You are overthinking money. Live a little. You are too serious now. It is only money. Only money. Poor people say that while stress is already waiting at home. REIT budgets say that while the car balance grows. Careless people say that while their future gets sold in small pieces, money is not everything. That is true, but weak control around money damages everything around it. I had to stop and be honest with myself again. Who around me respected my goals, and who only respected the version of me that stayed easy to influence? I checked the patterns. After time with certain people, my spending went up. After certain conversations, I doubted my budget. After certain invitations, my discipline became soft. The evidence was simple. Environment was touching my wallet. That was painful to admit because I wanted to believe all pressure was neutral. It was not. Some people are not trying to destroy you. They're just loyal to their own comfort. And your growth makes that comfort shake a little. If you become more disciplined, your change creates a mirror. It quietly asks them a question they may not want to answer. So they pull you back, often without knowing it. That is why your budget needs protection from envy, opinions, and people who benefit from your weakness. Protection does not always mean leaving everyone behind. Sometimes it means speaking less. Sometimes it means saying no without explaining. Sometimes it means refusing financial conversations with people who do not carry financial discipline. Sometimes it means understanding that not all advice deserves space in your mind. A person with debt may laugh at your budget. A person with no savings may call your restraint boring. A person who spends emotionally may tell you that your control is too much. Listen carefully, my friend. Not every opinion deserves a seat at your table. I used to let too many voices into my money life. I treated every comment like useful information. I let jokes enter my thinking. I let other people's habits touch my decisions. I let people with no system shape my system. That was foolish. Now, I protect my budget more carefully. I do not show every number. I do not discuss every saving move. I do not invite every person into my financial reset. Privacy is not shame. Privacy is strategy. When a plan is still growing, too much outside contact can weaken it. One simple example changed my thinking. I remember a month when I had a very clear budget. Rent, food, savings, transport, learning, and a small amount for pleasure. Clean, calm, reasonable. Then a few unexpected social moments came. A birthday dinner, a weekend plan, a suggestion to treat myself because I had worked hard. None of them looked dangerous alone. Together, they pushed against the wall of my month. I almost gave in. Then I asked a better question. Who suffers if I break this budget? Not the people inviting me. Not the people joking. Not the people giving opinions. Me. My future. My stress level. My savings. My freedom. That question made the answer easy. A budget is a promise to your future self. Breaking it for outside comfort is often self-betrayal. Now we move to the sixth hidden move. Building a system. This is where many people fail because they trust emotion too much. They wait to feel inspired. They wait to feel ready. They wait for motivation, a new month, a perfect mood, a strong speech, a painful event, some fresh beginning. But wealth does not grow from emotional motivation. It grows from routine. This truth changed everything for me. For a long time, I treated money improvement like a feeling. If I felt serious, I saved. If I felt hopeful, I studied. If I felt strong, I reduced spending. If I felt tired, I broke the plan. This created a life of inconsistency. Some weeks I looked focused. Some weeks I looked lost. There was no stable structure under my goals. That is why the sixth hidden move matters so much. Build a system quietly. A system is what you do even when you do not feel impressive. It is automatic saving after salary comes in. It is a spending limit decided before the week starts. It is scheduled learning time tied to future income. It is a fixed review of your budget. It is rules for weak moments. Rules protect you when feelings become dangerous. I used to think systems were boring. Now I see that boring systems create beautiful freedom. I had to stop and be honest with myself again. Why was I trusting emotion with something as serious as money? Emotion changes fast. A bad day can change it. A compliment can change it. Stress can change it. Hunger can change it. Loneliness can change it. If your budget depends on a feeling, your future becomes unstable. So I started building routines. On payday, savings move first. Once a week, I checked spending. At set times, I worked on useful skills. I made simple rules for food, shopping, and social spending. I reduced decisions by deciding earlier. That last one matters. Good systems reduce the number of moments where you need heroic self-control. They make discipline easier by making choices earlier. Instead of asking every day, should I save? The system already answered. Instead of asking, should I study tonight? The schedule already answered. Instead of asking, can I spend this? The budget already answered. This creates peace. Not exciting peace. Not dramatic peace. Real peace. And systems should stay quiet at first because people often do not respect routine until routine creates visible results. They may praise motivation speeches. They may admire loud ambition, but a real system looks plain. It repeats. It does not perform well in conversation. It performs well in life. I remember one season when I felt almost nothing. No big energy, no big confidence, no big hope. Just ordinary days. In the past, that kind of season would destroy my progress. But this time, the system carried me. Savings still moved. Spending stayed controlled. Study still happened. The budget still stood. Not because I was inspired, because I had rules. That is the quiet power of routine. You do not need to feel rich to act wisely. You do not need to feel confident to protect your salary. You do not need to feel excited to build assets. You need a system strong enough to keep moving when your emotions become weak. My friend, motivation is a visitor. Routine is a builder. In the next part, we will go into the final hidden move. Patience. Because even with a system, even with silence, even with a protected budget, many people still lose the long fight. They lose because they become impatient before the result has time to grow. The system helped me move when emotion was weak. But even a good system faces one final enemy. Time. Not time itself. Impatience. This is the final hidden move. Patience. Quiet. Consistency beats loud ambition in the long fight for financial freedom. I know this now because I used to lose that fight in the same way again and again. I would start well. I would save for a while. I would cut spending. I would learn useful skills. I would build routines. Then I would look for a big result too soon. When the result looked small, I felt insulted. That sounds ugly, but it is true. I felt like my effort deserved faster proof. I felt like 1 month of control should create a new life. I felt like a few strong weeks should erase years of weak habits. I wanted quick evidence that I was different now. But money does not respect impatience. Savings grow slowly. Debt leaves slowly. Skill grows slowly. Trust in yourself grows slowly. Freedom grows slowly. This is why patience must stay hidden at first. Because early patience is not dramatic. It is not exciting to talk about. It is almost invisible. You wake up, follow the system, protect the budget, avoid foolish spending, repeat the useful work, and the outer world may still look the same for a while. That stage is where many people quit, not because the method is wrong, because the ego is hungry. The ego wants a story it can show. Patience wants a life it can build. I remember checking my accounts after months of effort. I expected to feel victorious. Instead, I felt quiet disappointment. Yes, I was doing better. Yes, I had more control. Yes, my spending was cleaner. But I was not yet free. I was not yet where I wanted to be. My income was still limited. My assets were still small. The distance between me and the life I wanted still looked large, and for a moment, I felt tired of being disciplined. That is the danger point. After some progress, the mind whispers, "This is taking too long." Then it whispers, "Maybe one reward is fine. Then, maybe one bad month will not matter." Then the old leaks return. I had to stop and be honest with myself again. Did I want real wealth? Or did I only want the fast emotional high of becoming a new person? I checked my old months against my current months. The answer was clear. Slow progress was still progress. Quiet progress was still progress. Small wins repeated over time were changing my life more than any loud promise ever had. That check saved me. Patience is not passive. It is active loyalty to the process. It is not sitting and hoping. It is doing the right things long enough for the result to become visible. It is the strength to stay calm while the outside still looks ordinary. It is the refusal to destroy a good plan because the reward is late. My friend, this is where real financial character is built. Anybody can feel motivated for a weekend. Anybody can make a bold promise at night. Anybody can start a budget after pain. But can you stay steady when nobody notices? Can you stay disciplined when the numbers are still small? Can you stay loyal when progress looks boring? That is patience. That is strength. That is how freedom begins. I started seeing money differently after that. I stopped asking, how fast can this change? I started asking, what can I repeat for years? That question is better. It is calmer. It respects reality. And reality matters more than excitement. 1 month of silence can help. 1 year of silence can transform. 1 month of saving matters. Years of saving shape a life. 1 month of skill practice helps. Years of skill practice can change your income. Patience turns small habits into real power. So these are the hidden moves. Protect fragile plans. Save quietly. Reduce spending without needing approval. Learn valuable skills in silence. Refuse early praise inside your mind. Guard your budget from envy and foolish opinions. Build a system and then stay patient enough to let all of it work. In the final part, I will bring these truths together. I will also practice English with you, using the key words from today, and then I will leave you with the one message that finally changed my life. We have come to the final stretch, and I want to speak with total honesty. I used to think money change was about one big decision, one strong night, one painful lesson, one perfect plan. But that was another lie I told myself. My life did not change because I felt intense for a moment. My life changed when I became quieter, steadier, and more honest. That is the full lesson of today. The money moves that changed me were not loud. They were hidden at first. They were small enough to look unimportant, but they were strong enough to rebuild my future. Silence protected the early stage. Discipline gave shape to my days. Systems carried me when emotion disappeared. Patience stopped me from destroying slow progress with sudden frustration. And under all of it was one hard truth. Nobody is coming to save you. That sentence can sound cold, but for me, it became freedom. It meant I had to stop waiting for motivation to rescue me. I had to stop waiting for praise to carry me. I had to stop waiting for a better salary without becoming more useful. I had to stop waiting for outside approval before respecting my own budget. And because this is my confession, I will say the deepest truth clearly. Nobody was coming to save me. I had to save myself. That was the turning point. Now, let's practice English. Private means not open to other people. Something personal. Something quiet. My savings plan stayed private until it became stronger. Wealth means money, assets, and financial strength over time. Wealth is not only what you earn. It is what you keep and grow. Pressure means a force that pushes you and makes something feel heavy. Social pressure made me want to break my budget. Praise means positive words from other people. Praise feels good, but early praise can make the brain feel finished too soon. Envy means an unhappy feeling when someone else has something you want. Envy can hide inside jokes, opinions, or strange reactions to your discipline. Budget means a plan for how you use your money. A budget gives your salary direction and protects your future. Patience means staying calm and steady while results take time. Patience helped me keep going when progress looks small. Result means the real outcome of your actions. Words are not results. Feelings are not results. Numbers tell the result. Repeat after me. I keep my money plan private. Wealth grows in silence. Pressure can break weak discipline. Praise is not the same as result. Patience protects my future. Write one sentence in the comments using the word budget or patience. Make it simple, make it true. And now, my final message, my friend. Do not be ashamed of a quiet season. Do not be ashamed if your life looks simple while you rebuild your money habits. Do not be ashamed if your progress is still small. Small progress with truth is stronger than loud ambition with no structure. You do not need everyone to understand your plan. You do not need everyone to clap for your discipline. You do not need to explain every no, every limit, every quiet step. You need honesty. You need control. You need time. You need the courage to look ordinary while building something real. That is the path. A weak mind wants to look rich. A trained mind wants to become free. So save quietly, spend carefully, learn humbly, ignore empty praise, protect your budget, build your system, stay patient, then let the results speak later. English Story Studio is not here to help you consume more noise. It is here to help you build better English, build a stronger mind, build a life that is less driven by impulse and more guided by truth. If this story stayed with you, subscribe and come back. And in the comments, tell me one quiet money move you will protect this week. Not 10 moves. One real move. One honest move. That is enough. Stop drifting. Start building.